tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Ground control to Major Tom.
This makes me so sad, Fern.
Everyone's been doing tributes to Bowie, but we've got the British show, so it's really extra fitting.
I know. Rest in peace, David. Thank you for all you gave us in this badass song. Ugh. Whenever I think of David Bowie, I think of this song. I sing it in my head, but I can't sing, so I won't. Hey guys, it's Megan and Fern back with you for the Royals After Show. We're trying to pep it up because we're both a little tired. Oh my God, thank you. We're both feeling a little tired and a little rushed from LA traffic, but we're here. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do season 2, episode 9. We're doing it live. The title is "And Then It Started Like a Guilty Thing." Another line from Hamlet.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Shout out to our hater on YouTube who thinks that we don't know that. Shout out.
They should review last season's when you told us every week what they meant.
Talking to you, girl. Anyway. Hey, guys. Fern, tell them where they could tweet at you, lovey.
You can find me on Twitter at Fern Ronay, Ronay. And thank you for all the views and for all of for even tuning in. And if you like to tweet us, comment. We love hearing from you.
I love tweeting with you guys. I'm sorry, I was trying to catch up today, actually, from the past couple of maybe 10 days. I had a death in the family, so I've been kind of all over the place and not so much on social media. But love you guys tweeting us. I tried to get back to some of you today. And shout out to, oh my gosh, what's her name? I totally forget. But she said, concerning when Ted opened up that file from, we thought he was maybe in the basement or something going through the royal records. She said that those are what legal files look like over there.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay. She called them registering documents or something.
Oh.
And she said, I'm not sure if anyone cleared it up for you, but that's what the legal documents look like. Yeah, so I tweeted back at her today a big thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So I guess that's not it wasn't really a secret royal record so much as a legal document that he was going through. So maybe he was in some kind of a law library somewhere looking through her old case, some evidence.
Right.
Just a little window into what's going on in the royals, since we never know what's
something. They never have a wasted scene, or every action is leading to something.
Mm-hmm. Well, I listened to our last week's episode driving here the whole way. Well, not the whole way, half the way, because it took me forever. But we were laughing about Ted hiding cameras in the floral arrangements last week. Ted, our crack head of the royal security, is hiding cameras in the floral arrangements. It's so like an 80s show throwback to me or something. Yes, I love it.
It's so soap opera-ish.
I love it. So this show really opens with him, the Duchess's murder confession, really, the video.
Which he's got at a perfect angle.
A perfect angle, and it's just her. I love how you know that they like reshot it for that security camera footage, and she probably had to do that same scene like 20 times.
Of course.
First like for the show footage, and then for like the fake video footage. I love it. But he's also looking into what Jasper has been looking into as far as the video files, and his wife is back to patronizing him. So we had a lot of fun convos last week about how he's really yelling at himself because it's really his own thoughts. What the heck do you think's going on with him?
I don't know. I mean, I think we know now he's obviously the killer. She started off when the ghost was appearing. She was sweeter, and then she kind of turned. So I think the guilt, he felt more and more guilty.
Okay.
And she's, expressing that to him. And I think he also feels, it's so complicated because I think he killed the king sort of to avenge, this is my thought, to avenge her death. And she died because she was kind of caught in the crossfire of maybe an assassination. So he feels like, I work for the palace. My wife died because of that. Now I have to get revenge and kill the king. But now he feels guilty.
Okay.
That's my theory.
Okay. I mean, let's just go there. Finally at the end of the episode, we see the king's actual murder on tape.
Yes.
Jasper, our diligent, sweet Jasper, finds the video. He does some great investigating and gets the video and finds it. We both were saying before we started, like, I don't think it's as easy as this. Because we were saying even last week, everything seems so obvious right now. It can't be that obvious.
Right.
He did the physical act, but what's really going on?
Right. So that's one theory. And then an alternative theory is that perhaps King Simon, who knows, maybe he was dying of something and asked Ted to kill him. I don't know, and make it look like it was a murder.
Some of our predictions last week were that the king wanted his death to bring the country together or something like that, and then also that Ted thought that Ted didn't do it, but he thought that letting the king pass away after he had been wounded would be good for the country to come together. Like, we had all kinds of theories last week. And now it's like, okay, so we saw Ted did it. What the heck's really going on?
And the king's face when he did it, he didn't say, why, Ted? Why are you doing this? He just was silent and kind of had this face like, this is the moment.
Yes. And I watched the tape twice. And the tape. I rewound my DVR. And there was a weird thing where the king slowed down and paused before he even said Your Majesty. So when he said Your Majesty, he turned around and faced Ted.
Okay.
But before he even said Your Majesty, King Simon slowed down and stopped. And I'm like, wait a minute.
It could either be that he heard someone behind him, or he's like, this is how he timed it.
Right.
Now I turn around.
Right. Because that is what was a giveaway to me, that like, oh, I don't think this is as obvious. Because nothing on the show is ever obvious. We always are having to uncover it with the characters as it goes, and it's always a mystery. So for the past few episodes that things have been so obvious, you and I are like, no, no,
now
something's
they decide
up.
to be obvious, right?
Something is up.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, we got the big thing out of the way.
Yes.
We're just going to jump all over the place, just like the show does, because it's hard to not talk about an entire storyline that goes on with one character.
It's hard to do this linearly. If it's,
it's hard to go in order and not.
Linear.
Thank you. Oh, we do need help tonight. We do have another funny moment in the beginning before things get too serious, where James Moorfield visits the princesses, so Cyrus's two daughters, and the gorgeous made-over one, and he greets her at the door, and she's in her lingerie, and it's so hot and exciting, and they are interrupted by the other sister, and they both. So the secret's out now. The queen's plan that she put into motion so long ago when she was kind of a different person and didn't know so many things. So they both think that he is their boyfriend. And now both of them know it.
Yes.
So I can't even think straight right now. But what is that going to do to the storyline? Because the queen's kind of turned over a let sleeping dogs lie attitude.
Initially it was, I'm going to put him in between both of them. They'll kill each other over him, and it'll be clear that neither of them are fit to be to rule. Maybe that's still the plan. Yeah. Because even though she's changed, they still kind of need to be out of the way.
That's true. So in order for her to take the throne, she'd need to get Prudence out of the way. Or Prudence would have to have something terrible happen to her pregnancy and not even produce the heir.
And Cyrus before that.
Right, and Cyrus would also...
and then she wouldn't have to worry about Prudence.
Right, and Cyrus would also have to pass away from the testicular cancer or be taken care of by someone, as happens. People get murdered all the time around here.
Treatment, yes.
Don't you know? Gosh, so it's a long line of people, but I think she can do it.
I think she can.
speaking of
Everybody's
her,
getting whacked on the Royals. It's like The Sopranos.
speaking of her, let's jump to what goes on with the Queen this week. She brings Lucy. She watches Liam's video that he did last week with his great monologue about this family can be great again and this country can be great again and let's all come together, kumbaya, blah, blah, blah. And she feels like all inspired and summons Lucius from jail and tells him they're going to exonerate him. He's leaving jail forever. And his response is, no, I'm not going to do that. I am going to wither away in jail because they gave my whole life to running this monarchy and I want to see it continue to stand. And Cyrus is unfit.
Right.
Why do you think he's so determined for her to get Cyrus out of the way?
Well, I don't know, because what I don't understand is that his thinking is, if I can't have my job, I'll stay in prison. And I'm like, who cares?
Right.
Why do you care that much? But for whatever reason, he's so dedicated to the palace. And he knows Cyrus had him made the call for him to kill Alistair Lacey. So I think he thinks this guy's a killer. He's not a good man like Simon. He's not fit. And you and the Queen and I work so hard to get closer and closer that he's just wants to see her on the throne.
Yeah.
But I would be like, save your own ass and get out of jail and move and live a great life. You don't need this.
I guess it's like we actually are hearing or seeing truth from someone for a change. He like literally is that in love with the monarchy, even though he's not a royal,
right,
that he wants his life to be wasted away in jail and
makes no sense to
have
me.
it end in a lie than to have the monarchy fail in a scandal.
Yeah. And then so she says to him, he's alive. He looks shocked. Then he says to her, Cyrus had me kill him. She looks shocked. So everything's getting revealed now, but
another murder confession.
Yeah.
Except now she does say to him, which he looks extremely relieved. Guess what? As much as you were, thought you were a murderer, he's actually alive. So you can, take that off your shoulders. Which I thought was kind of a cute moment between them. She gives him a little, even though she's like, look, I can never let you back in here and I'll never forgive you. But she gives him a little something.
So she knows that he didn't kill the king. Obviously. So she called him to say, did she want more information from him, or she was just calling to be kind and say, I'm going to let you off the hook? I think she's turned over a new leaf and she's like an old queen setting people free from the Tower of London.
Or maybe she was expecting him to tell her some more things or some, by buttering him up.
Maybe.
You never know. I want to believe that she's on the goodness and kindness campaign that started last week.
Yes.
And it's going to continue for one more episode.
But so why do you think Cyrus wanted Alistair killed? In my notes, said probably so he wouldn't try to find out if the kids were his.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
So that would
was the thing,
tie
right?
up the loose ends for me as far as why that all started taking place in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah. But it seems like when Rachel visits the Queen in the end and was like, get out of here, who cares? Like, go make a life for yourself outside the palace. And she's like, just find out if Alistair's the baby daddy or not. And she's like, oh, no, whatever. Like, Liam's Simon's son. I just know it in my heart.
This is my life.
This is where I live.
And I was like, you know what? Rachel's giving you really good advice. You can have a
For
life
once.
and love outside of these gates. Go! Run for the hills. You don't need this crap.
I think that was her silent battle cry. I really do. I think that was her like, nope, Lucius is right. Cyrus is completely unfit. I've come this far. I'm not going to walk away now.
Yep.
Kind of like not just I want this throne for my personal power, but that Cyrus is unfit and Lucius inspired me and I have to make this right.
So finally her motivations are pure.
Finally. We hope.
Right.
Talking to you, Helena.
Who knows? Who the hell knows with this show?
Oh my God. So the Queen also visits Prudence. So I think the first way she's going to try to get rid of this Cyrus trail to the throne is to try to have Prudence not marry him and not bear their son into a life of royalty and be the male heir. So Prudence isn't biting. Are you surprised? I thought she might say, well, if you pay me off, I will go.
Yeah, kind of. But at the same time, I was like, good for her to be like, do you think I want to live like this?
Right.
My kid's going to be rich like you, and I don't care. So I appreciated her honesty. But the queen seemed really heartfelt, especially when she was like, I lost my first, my eldest son. Think about yours. Was really, who knows how genuine she is, but it was, I don't know, I thought it was pretty kind that she was, you know, trying to say, think truly about what you're doing to your child.
Yeah, the conversation seemed like a failure until she got up to leave, and she's like, I just wanted you to know, you're the first to know I'm going to name the baby Simon after the late king. And she's like, well, just keep in mind, sister, that he hated this monarchy and was going to abolish it, so FYI.
Yeah.
I liked that. I feel like that's what got to Prudence.
Yeah. So we'll see if...
And then she brought in that, and I lost my first son. Oh, so good. She's so good. Manipulating all over the place.
She really
And we get left wondering, you know, did it get to Prudence? Is she not going to ever come back to the palace? Is she going to disappear?
Right.
Never know. And your prediction last week was that Prudence and Violet are sisters, and that in the little locket with the two pictures, that maybe they're sisters.
Oh,
and
I like that.
one of them's going to show back up, or that Violet had a sister that's going to show up in the future and try to, like, avenge her death.
Oh, I like it. Good job, Fernie. I don't remember that.
Yourself of a whole week ago. Gosh, where to next?
It was chock full of Lenny, but should we do... Okay.
Well, let's do Cyrus real quick and get him out of the way. So the only thing we really see of Cyrus this week is that he wants to build the crib, which they call... What was he calling it?
A cot.
It's so funny how we have such different names for things. Sometimes when they talk so fast, I think Liam this episode for me talked really fast, and I had to turn on the subtitles.
I had no idea what he was saying until I saw that,
Yeah, so I guess we call a crib over in the good old jolly old England a cot. So he's trying to build the cot, and he goes away for the entire episode. And then at the end of the episode, the new maid, who's been really flirty, throwing herself at him, it appears that he's had her build the crib and not himself. And then she's trying to get him something or be of service. And he's like, no, go get me pomegranate juice.
When he asked for the pomegranate juice, I was like, oh my God, he really loved Violet.
Shout out to Violet. I like how he seems less evil right now, too.
Yeah, they're all changing.
It's weird. Because he was so upset about Violet's death, and we haven't seen I said last week, he's so full of rage.
Yes.
So we haven't seen him explode or get revenge for that yet.
Yes, that's true. Maybe it seems like he's trying to channel his energies somewhere
elsewhere.
More positive.
Right.
I don't think he ever built a crib for his two wacko daughters, so
yeah.
He's finally, I don't know, maybe this is the new baby's healing for him somehow.
Maybe. I mean, he is engaged to another woman already.
True.
Less than 24 hours after, the same day that his love was found out. Goodness. Moving on. Price and Jasper have a bit of a showdown. Price asks him to turn over his weapon and to stop digging. And he's like, you know what? Knock it off with your fake accent. So he's letting him know. He knows the deal. What's up? The whole 9 yards. And, I mean, I'm just so confused. Like, we know Price did it, and it seems so obvious. I mean, of course Jasper was going to find out.
As the episode was going on, it was too obvious that there had to be a twist at the end when Jasper finally saw the tape, and it was like, who knows?
Right. And it's like, why would you keep Jasper or re-employ Jasper?
Right.
When
how is he still there?
Exactly. I mean, that's the one hole here that we're like, this is not working for me.
We have to suspend our disbelief.
But we love him and Eleanor.
But through the whole episode, it's like, we can figure this out, so there's going to be a surprise at the end. That's what we're so used to with this show. But yeah, I guess they're being a little more straightforward. I guess as more things have to be answered, they have to just be more straightforward.
So good. I've been loving this info dump that's happening for the past 3 weeks.
It's so satisfying.
So that's going to kind of continue to play out throughout the episode. Liam visits with the deputy prime minister. She summons him. There was that great cross-cutting in the beginning of the episode where it's like The Queen asks Lucius to come. Have
Please
a seat.
take a seat.
Right. The Deputy Prime Minister asks Liam to come over. Please take a seat. Imogen asks Eleanor to the hotel. Please take a seat. So that was really cool.
Yes.
I love the way they did that. So that all of our stories got to unfold at the same time. But Liam visits Deputy Prime Minister. She is basically saying, look, you guys, like the whole country would love for this to be abolished. If we brought up a bill, it would pass with flying colors. I'd love for you to be, what was she saying?
An ambassador for the youth. A cultural ambassador for
the youth.
Young people.
And she wants to send him to New York City. So I think that she is aware, tell me if you think I'm wrong, she's aware of the steam coming from his speech that was posted to YouTube or the internet. They don't say YouTube on there. I don't know. So she can see that there's a wave starting, like pro-monarchy and pro-Liam, right? That she's trying to get rid of him. Do you think that's what's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. Because he said, you want to use me as a pawn in your battle with my mom. And she's like, no, not at all. Maybe she doesn't want to use him as a pawn in that particular battle, but she wants him out of there. She is using him and sending him to New York to get the hell out of the way because he's getting too popular.
Agreed.
And I'm surprised he even went along with it. He's too smart for that, but I don't know. He seems to be considering it.
Well, when he talked to Eleanor about it, I was actually not at all surprised when she was like, Liam, I love you. I will miss you, but I want you to get the hell out of here.
I know.
I knew she was going to say it before she said it.
I did too, because that's true love, and they only have each other. He's the only one she has, really. The only true person in her life is Liam. And what true love that she's going to send away her one true friend because she just wants him to do what's best and wants the best for him and just be happy and get out of this crazy place.
I was wondering if they were trying to tie in Ophelia again in some way.
Yes, me too.
With like him, if he was going to head to New York by next episode,
right,
and we would tie in Ophelia with everything that's going on with Price.
Right. Exactly. So when he nixed it at the end, it was like, wait.
So he meets up with Wilhelmina, who he kind of forgot.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
I love when Jasper was like, but when was the last time? Yep, got it.
Willow. Even I was like, oh my God, Willow. What happened to her?
So apparently he didn't even go into the bedroom to hook up with her. He forgot that she went there.
Right.
Because Eleanor tried to burn the palace down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They kind of got separated. She got escorted out when the sprinkler system went on, I guess. So he's forgotten to call her since then.
Right.
And they have a great convo about, she's like, you know how I feel. But I love that she's kind of a huge supporter of his.
I love when she was like, ask the Deputy Prime Minister if anyone comes to this country to see her.
I thought that was one of the best lines of the whole show.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And she's right. Yeah. We didn't know what to make of her because you never know what to make of any character on the show. They could turn out to be evil. Look at Ted. But I'm thinking, I don't know. They're convincing me in this episode that she's legit and she's true.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been a straight shooter the whole time.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Never know.
I just want her to stay like a B character where she's at and not be somebody crazy by next episode.
Yeah, that would be
something
nice.
dastardly in the works. Let's dive into Eleanor and Imogen this week. Oh my gracious. So Imogen does ask Eleanor to come visit her. It looks like a hotel lobby to me.
Yes.
Is that where they were? Okay.
I think so.
And she's asking for drugs to just get through the day.
Yes.
I was freaking out when it turned out that that man started rubbing her butt and that she's like, oh, he's Victor's friend.
Right.
Because I was like, my notes, I wrote down huge prostitute, question mark, question mark, question mark. So I thought, oh, she's a high dollar hooker because she's like, oh, I have this guy that takes care of me. And I'm like, oh, it makes so much sense. Like she got out of rehab and became, a hooker and he's her pimp. And that's why she's dressed in the best of the best. And that kind of all makes sense to me. But I didn't expect that it was they kind of were in a relationship, but he also loaned her out.
I think she is a high class.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I think she is, and they don't always treat them so well. So I think she got beat up to keep her in her place.
Okay.
And remind her who's boss. It was so real. Like, it was a little...
It was so...
Whoever did that makeup job, I mean, I've never seen anyone look like that in real life, but it was terrifying to me.
It was terrifying.
It's hard to look at her.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking the whole time what a beautiful girl she is.
Yes.
Watching the two of them have their scenes together. I was like, I never noticed it when she was in the rehab, still a drug addict last season.
Yeah.
But this season, she looks so beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
I just kept thinking, like, what a beautiful actress.
Yes,
What a
I
beautiful
agree.
girl. What a it gets really sad at the end of the episode. I kind of felt like we had a weird, there's usually a few minutes of the show that are kind of like very sad at the end, and you feel that it's wrapping up. And I felt like at least the last 15 minutes, if not 20 minutes of the show were that way tonight. And there was a lot of talk between Imogen, once Eleanor and her were rescued from the hotel room.
Which was an amazing rescue.
Oh my God, that was so scary.
That was awesome. I loved how she took everything off, and then Jasper put his coat, his jacket on her. I was like, what a gentleman. He is good.
I know. This is so terrible to say. I was thinking, like, when she was taking the dress off, I was like, I would at least left in that dress, honey.
Right.
Like,
keep the
at least
clothes.
have one thing. Like, Pretty Woman style. At least leave with that one nice clothes. Keep the clothes. But that was a really touching, sweet scene. And then, so the conversations in the bedroom that they were having were so moving.
Yes.
And then, but the thing that put a knife in my heart was when she was talking to Jasper. And she was comparing kind of Imogen getting out of a bad situation and her saying, I never left that situation.
She was like, there's two people who are in the same situation, one's strong enough, and it's not me. It was, very touching. And
then, what was he saying to you? I wanted to see you? Was that his answer to the question?
I think so.
She was saying, why did you come? Or why did you come back? And she asked it twice in different ways. And he had the same answer. And I was like, oh, girl, he loves you. Okay, let's talk about the mystery of the earrings. We are confused which pair of earrings these are. You know what it is? These were earrings that she took off in the hotel room when she was stripping down. That's what it is. And Mr. Hill took them, gave them to Jasper. No, maybe not.
What hotel room?
So when Imogen and Eleanor were being like rescued from Victor, and she stripped down of all the jewelry and the dress.
Yeah, Imogen was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were they Imogen's earrings that Mr. Hill took
They
and
looked
gave them?
kind of like, I don't know.
It's so confusing. So Fern and I were talking about this before the show started. We were like, what earrings were those? Because last week, Mr. Hill gave the stolen earrings that Mandy took back to Eleanor, and then Eleanor gave them to her mom and said, Graham was wrong about you and diamonds.
Yes, right.
So I had a weird thing where the whole time during this episode, I thought that those were those earrings.
Right.
And he said, give back to her yourself. But, okay, so were they Imogen's earrings and he wanted her to give those to Imogen for Imogen to like hawk for money?
I guess. It's a bit, I don't know. It would have to be the same earrings for it to mean something for Jasper to give them back to Eleanor in person, because Hill specifically said in person this time. So I was like, they have to be the same earrings, but I can't follow the trace of, I thought they were with the mom.
I'm so confused.
Unless they were Imogen's. He picked them up off the floor. Jasper gave them to Eleanor. Eleanor gave them back to Imogen to have some money. She could sell them.
Right.
But it's less touching, because if they were Eleanor's and she gave them to her, I would be like, oh, it's a little more sweet.
I'm very confused with the wording, whose earrings they were.
Yes. Yes. We will solve this mystery. If you have any ideas, please tweet us.
I know. I feel like the viewers are way smarter than us. Like, whenever we're like, we don't get it, you guys text us.
Have it all
like
figured
right
out.
after the show, we have 5 tweets
We
waiting.
We appreciate it.
We do.
We're all piecing it together.
I know. Thank you for helping us.
I loved the dialogue that she had before they were rescued, when she was like, you're nobody's property. The world's a big place, and the rest of your life is a long time. Was such great dialogue, and so... Eleanor hasn't had the healthiest mindset since we've met her, mostly because she's been high and drunk the whole time. But now she's sober and making sense, and it's so nice to see a healthy-minded Eleanor. I was so proud of her, how caring she was.
This was her episode.
Like, you always knew she was a good egg, but now she's sober and healthy and like saying things that make sense and are empowering.
So earlier in the episode, she said, I threw out my drugs and I cleaned my room. Aren't you excited? And then when he says, I'm proud of you, I almost cried.
I know. I think she almost cried,
It lit her up. That's all she's been waiting to hear from a parental figure.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, it had to be, you know, her millionth security guard.
Right.
In a long line of terrible security guards.
And the whole time when she's saying, you know, they were back in her bedroom and she's talking to Imogen and she's saying, people make us feel like we're less than and we let them. She wasn't just talking about romantic relationships. She was talking about her parents. Yeah. And who, you know, people just in her life, they were always making her feel. So it's not just romantic. It's not just Jasper. It's everyone who's used her and also her parents who she was so concerned about disappointing her father. And now there's this father figure saying, I'm proud of you. It was so empowering for her.
I almost had the thought too, not almost, I had the thought while she was talking to her and saying that the public also made her feel that way. Yes. That they're like, all this luxury and you don't deserve it. Yes. And they say such terrible things in the press about her that it makes her feel bad about herself. Right. And then to have her mother on top of that, always agreeing with the press. Right. And she would always bring the press to her and be like, look what you did, look what they're saying. And they're right.
Right, exactly. And then she said, the first steps are always the most difficult. I'm proud of you. Those were the exact words that Hill said to her. That she was
my God, I didn't even catch that.
That she was then saying to Imogen,
I didn't even catch that.
So I love James Hill. He better stay pure.
Ooh, first of all, he's so damn handsome.
He is so handsome.
Let's talk about the whole scene with him and Jasper and Robert's killer, because that was nuts. I was like, what's happening? So it looks like Jasper's out after his like tongue lashing from Ted. He also lets Liam know, hey, by the way, Ted took away my gun. He's telling me to stop digging around, and I'm not going to stop. See ya. Right. So he's out. Looks like he's doing some investigating. Is on like high alert on the streets. All of a sudden, he's face-to-face, guns drawn, with Robert's killer, who was from last season's finale, and James is there too, with his gun drawn. He had been following Robert's killer. Robert's killer thinks someone is following him, and Robert's killer is following Jasper because he thinks that Jasper killed the king. Right. And I loved their really super quick bit. I mean, the actor who is James Hill is phenomenal. Phenomenal. And how quickly he spoke all of those words. Like, his timing was impeccable in the scene. I don't know what they call the restaurants over there, but I would call it a diner here. And they're sitting in a diner. Jasper and James kind of grilling him and him kind of grilling them because he's like, I don't trust this guy. He thinks Jasper's killed the king. Right. And James is like, no, I know you didn't. And he's like, he's in love with the princess. And he's like, oh, right on. What did he say? Rightly so? Or
something like, I can't blame you. Something like that.
What did you take away from this conversation as far as like what's going to happen now?
Well, I have questions as to how does Robert's killer know that it came from the palace? We need to get more information from him. Who told you to kill him?
Oh, okay.
What did they tell you?
Right.
Why is he still out and free? Like, if he admitted to killing, Robert.
True, because didn't he only tell Eleanor and Jasper?
I'm surprised Eleanor and Jasper didn't tell Price or didn't tell someone to be like, Robert's killer's out there and we have to do something. They've kept it on the DL.
Eleanor's good at keeping really terrible things on the DL. Until this week. So
he's out. He killed him. He should know if he got a directive to kill Robert. We need more information as to who told you, why, when, what the circumstances.
Right. So he's claimed last season and this season the call came from inside the palace.
Right. Why should anyone believe him?
Right. How does he know? Good point. Yeah. I was always just glazing right over that.
Yeah. That's confusing to me. But so I don't know. That's confusing to me. So then he thinks, what made him think that Jasper's the killer? He doesn't know anything about why Jasper was even in the palace. He doesn't have that information.
Okay.
So why does he think he killed him? I don't get it.
Oh, you know what? He said something about you're walking around the same streets that
the king was killed on.
And that the king was killed on. He's like, so I thought you were following me to kill me, that you killed the king and I are following me to kill me. It was very confusing, but I'm glad we gleaned from it what we did.
We still have open questions that needs to be answered.
We do.
And the writers, yeah.
So Jasper and James are rush away to rescue Imogen and Eleanor at that time. We do also see Jasper go find the video, do some more investigating on the streets. Thank God for the little skateboard kids.
Oh my God.
Who are videoing all their tricks. So he finds the hidden camera that does capture the king's murder on it. God, whew, heavy stuff. I know, right? So same timing as Jasper watching that video and figuring out that Ted Price is the man who stabbed the king. Eleanor is telling Liam, you know what, Jasper's not a good guy. So she lets the cat out of the bag about Jasper being a total douche. And probably tells him about the jewel heist situation and Mandy / Samantha. I'm wondering if she also told him about the whole video, like fake sex video blackmailing situation. I'm wondering if she went that far too.
She might have. I think the biggest thing is that he was there for the wrong reasons.
Right.
Yeah. To start with.
Right. God. Whew, what did I forget? I mean.
So then, yeah.
Oh. Wait, hold on. So. Major. Hold on. Let's continue the episode. So, also, Price takes the floral arrangement confession to Mr. Stewart, Domino's sister, and he's like, okay, finally it's all over. Like, we got the confession for you. You know who killed your sister. Done. And he's like, wow, all my life I've just been waiting to hear this. But now I'm fired up. We have so much more to do now that this is concrete. And I think he really stuns Price. Like, Price is like, oh, shit, I just opened a can of worms.
Yeah. But he shouldn't be surprised. They're going to want to get revenge. So we still don't know who killed Robert, who killed... we know who killed Robert and we know who killed Ted. We just don't know why and what it has to do with Domino. And if Dominique's father, Domino's brother... if they were the ones sending all of the domino signals, but it just had unfortunate timing with the deaths of their family. I don't know. It's too coincidental.
Well, last week I was saying, like, I feel like there's somebody else in Domino. There's more than just the father and daughter. There's more than just Mr. Stewart and his daughter, Dominique. So if there is, maybe there's somebody even more terrible leading... that we haven't even gotten to meet yet, leading all of this, and they were responsible for the call to kill Robert and for... I don't know, because Price is on video stabbing him, but I don't know. And also, the conversation between Jasper and Mr. Hill and Robert's killer makes it seem like Ted could also be the Robert's kid. Like, Ted could have also made the call for that kid to kill Robert.
So maybe the killings have nothing to do with Domino. They were just coincidental timing. And Price killed the king, had Robert killed for whatever his own reasons. And because he genuinely, it seemed, didn't know a thing about Domino. But maybe he was pretending he didn't know.
Here's the only thing I can think of is why Robert's killer would say the call came from inside the palace is if he was called to a telephone they were on a military base doing training exercises. So maybe they were like, you have a call, it's actually from the royal palace. And if he, they were like, please hold for the palace or something, official, where either someone on the phone was very official or if the military base was like, hey, this is the palace on the phone. Right. Please take the call.
Right. And then how was Robert killed? Shot? Friendly fire? That they thought was friendly, but it was really intentional.
What did he say last season? I can't remember. My mind is twisting and turning in so many ways.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But Dominique is not happy about any of this.
Oh,
which is a shock.
So she kicks Price out. She's pissed. So I think she's got a crushy crush
I
on
think
Liam.
so too.
I think it's going to be weird next week because Liam's going to be trying to save the world and he's going to have two girls fighting over him. But she sees so much good in Liam and she's like, you're about to betray him and he trusts you.
And she's been probably her whole life told how horrible the palace is, how horrible these royals are. They killed your aunt. And then Liam was just so, she was so enamored with him, so taken with what a good person he is, that she's forgotten all that she's been indoctrinated with, and she's in love.
She seems anti her dad to me at this point.
Know.
And maybe she can't speak to her dad the way she spoke to Price, but she'll tell her true feelings to Price. She was like, get out of my house.
Right, exactly. And she said so, as much, that she, was originally against him, and then she obviously...
I'm thinking by next week she's going to turn the table. Like, she's going to be working along with Liam to stop her dad.
I think... All right, this
Should
is my
we
prediction.
We're going to do predictions!
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So, I think Liam, because now Jasper... Liam punches Jasper. Jasper's like, wait, I know who killed your father. So, I think they're going to get Ted arrested. They're going to prove that they're legitimate.
Oh,
somehow.
okay. All next week. Okay.
And he's going to propose to Dominique and finally, I said this last week too, finally make things right. This was the family that was supposed to be the royal family.
I have chills.
And now it's going to happen.
Oh my God, that would be so major.
So instead of a shotgun wedding with Prudence, it'll be maybe a shotgun wedding with Liam and Dominique.
Oh my God. Okay, based on, I love that. Okay, based on the very confusing promo that we saw, because it also included footage from this week's episode. So they're just trying to stretch out, not show us too much and stretch out what we already had. So Mr. Stewart, I think, is going full throttle on, Domino kicking ass on the royal family, but I can't see in my crystal ball what exactly that's gonna be, but I think it's gonna be something bad, because we see Eleanor running around like a packed arena. Looks like maybe like a soccer game or something. So I feel like it's almost gonna be like last season's finale, like her and Jasper are on the run figuring things out, trying to stop some stuff.
Oh, they are at an arena.
Yeah.
So maybe Stewart sneaks in and plays the video of the Duchess confessing to
maybe
the soccer.
Oh, maybe that's it. Because we do see
stadium.
this shot of her walking down the hallways, which is kind of like the hallways that lead from the locker rooms out onto the field.
Yeah.
And it looks like people are kind of trying to claw at her, and Jasper's kind of like, get away, get away.
Yeah.
Maybe that's exactly what happens. Exciting. So let's say, I'm going to predict that video comes out next week for the whole country to see.
For
the
all
whole
the world
world.
to see. Send us your predictions. We love your predictions.
Ooh, yes.
Tweet us.
Liam plans to kill Ted, 100%. He's got the gun in his hand, ready to do it. And Jasper's trying to talk him out of
Because
it.
Jasper says there's no coming back from this, but I thought it was a wedding.
Right. I think Liam's not going to do it, obviously, but he's ready to.
Okay.
He's ready. And then, because we said this whole season was going to be about him avenging his dad's death, and that's the pinnacle of avenging a death is revenge. So, Queen still has a few tricks up her sleeve with Cyrus. I don't know what she's gonna do next week, but I think that she's gonna outsmart him. I don't know exactly how, but I think she's gonna outsmart him, and not saying she becomes queen and he's no longer king next week, but something major.
I think she might step aside and not become queen and might say, these are my kids. These are Simon's kids. Liam is the rightful heir. I don't care if I'm not the queen as long as Liam is.
If she proves paternity, they could reverse all of this, right? And make Liam king.
Yeah, and she's probably turned over, changed and doesn't care about having power anymore. Who knows?
Oh my God, this is so nuts. I'm so excited, you guys. Big season finale next week. So all four of us should be in-house. The girls are making sure they take off work next week to be here with us. So I'm so excited.
I can't believe it was such a fast season, but it was good. This show has hit its stride. It is so good.
And can't wait for season 3. Fern, where can we find you on social media at all?
You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fern Ronay, Ronay. And my first novel is coming out
This spring, it's the story of a single 29-year-old Manhattan lawyer who is guided in her dreams by her dead Italian grandparents. It's called Better in the Morning. There's a reason things are better in the morning. So follow me for release information, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Hey guys, it is Megan. If you guys missed my spotlight on last week, I did an awesome hour-long interview with Pastor Rich.
Awesome.
Thank you, Pastor Rich Wilkerson Jr. of the Kim Kardashian Kanye West wedding fame. He's an awesome dude. Check it out on our YouTube channel or on iTunes, and you guys can follow me on social media this week. It's all at Megan Stecher on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
So that's how you sing.
Buzz you later.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.